this week's lesson's about courage, and in my mind, when I think of courage, I think of a valiant warrior or somebody from a cartoon when I was little, holding a huge sword and ripped muscles and fighting against a dragon. But I guess part of the courage I'm talking about is the ability to stand up to a friend or stand up to a family member and stand up for what you believe in and for what you desire in life. And standing up against yourself is a big one. Being able to tell yourself no. And this holds true for people with addictions and people who make a lot of decisions that are poor and don't really think everything through. But in general, standing up against yourself is generally a good idea, because if you feel like if you have to stand up, or you have that urge to tell yourself no, then you shouldn't do it. I think that's a pretty big life lesson in general. Standing up against family members and standing up against your friends is also important. If you see somebody who you love, or somebody that you know who is doing something that's terrible, and doing something that's, and that's against your morals, and you should have the courage to stand up against them, because you don't want to associate with people who do things that are against your morals and how you feel and what you want. That's not right. That's not only not courageous, but it's not right for yourself. You're not giving yourself enough of a chance to live and enough of a chance to be happy, because if you feel like you have to lower your standards for people, then you're not going to be happy. But along with courage, it comes with learning, knowing when to stand up, when is the right time, and when to open your mouth. And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong with objecting to things. It's about how you do it and in the way that you do it. I saw a video on YouTube just the other day where this guy, no, it was actually on CNN.com, that this guy came up and interrupted the mayor of Kansas City and started cursing and yelling and saying, he's talking about this and blah 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 blah, and just kept cursing. And there was one point, it was probably a good 15 seconds of just a bleep, because he was yelling so many explicitives. And that, I think that's wrong. That's not right. I think that there are times where going through the conduits of government is not the best way to do it. Not only the best way, but it's not working. It doesn't work. But I think going through the right ways first is the best way to be courageous. Because if you're standing up and you're saying that I'm willing to play by your rules, but I want the rules to change. I want to inflict change on my environment. I want teachers to be paid more, or I want to be paid more, or I want better health care, or I think that the street should be painted blue, and this is the reason why. Whether it seems irrational to other people or not, whether it's perfectly needed or you're just being selfish, you should still be able to express your opinion. Obviously, think it through. Don't send something like the street should be painted blue because I want it to. Nobody will ever care about that. That'll be one thing that'll just go straight into the recycling bin, and you'll get one of those pre-written letters saying, we're happy to receive your correspondence, etc., 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 and then you're filed away and it's done. I think that standing up for what you believe in is courageous. And courage isn't just standing up for what you believe in or standing up against yourself. Courage is doing the right thing. Courage is being the best that you can, but doing it in a way that you aren't wussing out. And I know wussing out is not a very scientific term, and it's not a very knowledgeable term, but to be able to do the right thing for the sake of doing it right, not because it's convenient, not because it gets you more friends, or it gets you more followers, or whatever. It's for doing it for the right reason. Whether you feel that staying a virgin until marriage is the right thing. It's the courage to stand up against your peers, and the courage to stand up against the people in your environment and yourself and those urges to follow what you believe in. If you think that you shouldn't curse, then it's the courage, the silent courage, to be able to not inflict those words upon other people. Or maybe you feel like it's not right to eat animals, that you think that vegetarianism is the best way to do it. Many people will disagree. Thousands, millions of people will disagree. But because you feel that way, and it's your right to feel that way, and it's your right to choose your own choices, then you make your choice, and you have that silent strength to be able to follow what's right. To be able to stand up to yourself and stand up to your environment and stand up to the things that the media throws at you that rarely, if ever, are vegetarians displayed normally, or rarely, if ever, are virgins displayed normally in media, or rarely, if ever, are people who stand up for their rights, unless it's something that's become socially acceptable, such as gay rights or race rights or anything like that. If you're standing up because you believe that, you know, politicians are paid too much, and you're standing strong and you're protesting, or you believe that the trees shouldn't be cut down, unless it's socially acceptable, you're going to be cast down, you're going to be looked down upon. And standing up for what you believe in, and standing up against yourself, and standing up against the people around you, and standing up, just standing, and being that voice, being that resounding noise. Because being a silent observer is just as bad as being the person that is causing the crime, causing the pain. By standing there and not saying anything, standing there and allowing wrong things to happen, you're not being a voice of dissent. You are not changing anything. And many people I know will say, oh, this thing should change, this thing should change, but they go about their daily lives and make no effort to change it. And in some ways, I think that is the really detrimental part in our society. That's something that our society has created, that we learn to moan and cry about these specific things, but we never stand up and say, I don't like this thing, I'm going to change this thing. Because they think of it, oh, it's the man, it's the government, it's going to be years and years. Well, if it's worth it, if this is something that's so important that you're willing to complain about it every day, then it's willing to consume, you should let it to be, you allow it to be able to consume your life and make that your goal, and go day to day changing these things. That's up to you, that's your job. That's what courage is. It's standing up, it's being that, whether it's that lonely dissenter or one of many. Stand up, be courageous. Be that voice in a crowd. Be the change. Stand up to yourself for those urges that are detrimental to the people around you, detrimental to yourself. Be courageous and stand up against family members that are making wrong choices that affect you or don't affect you, but are hurting them. Be courageous and stand up against the people who you call your friends, if you feel that they're doing something that's wrong. As always, be yourself. Stand up for what you believe in.